Welcome to this week's episode of MLM Renegade. You know, we're a day late or so, but guys, this one's going to be good. So here's the million-dollar question. How are network marketers like us, who've tried everything their upline ever suggested to be successful, and yet still struggled, who grew up with technology and aren't stuck in the 20th century, how are we supposed to grow our downlines and our bank accounts, and yet still have time for real life? My name is J.R. McKee. Join me as we explore how to use 21st century learning and technology to grow our downlines and build lasting wealth. Simply put, this is MLM done different. Welcome to MLM Renegade. Welcome back, guys. You know, this week I want to talk a little bit about intention. And really kind of how we look at life and how we approach different situations in our lives and in our business. You know, I've been thinking about this a little bit, and actually I heard this really cool poem that is quite old, but it really kind of puts things into perspective. I'm going to read it. It's attributed to Edgar A. Guest, but I've also seen it as unattributed, so I don't know. We'll take that for what it's worth. But it says, I watched them tearing a building down, a gang of men in a busy town. With a ho-heave-ho and a lusty yell, they swung a beam and the sidewall fell. I asked the foreman, are these skilled and the men you'd hire if you'd had to build? He gave me a laugh and said, no, indeed. Just common labor is all I need. I can wreck in a day or two what builders have taken a year to do. And I thought to myself as I went my way, which of these roles would have I tried to play? Am I a builder who works with care, measuring life by rule and square? Am I shaping my deeds to do a well-made plan, patiently doing the best I can? Or am I a wrecker who walks the town, content with the labor of tearing down? Over the past year, past 6-9 months, we've been doing a remodel of our home. And so I've actually got to be on both sides of this. We did all the demolition work on our own, and then we also did some of the building on our own as well, and then hired subcontractors out for the stuff that was really too complicated for me or definitely above my skill and strength level. But one of the things that I learned through all this is, doing demolition is really hard work. It's taxing, it's tiring. But, when we rented dumpsters 2 different times so that we had all the room to take out all the trash that we were creating. And we started with our upstairs. And that dumpster we had for literally, it was like a day and a half. It was supposed to be 2 days, but it showed up late. And so it was really kind of difficult as we had to get all this trash into this huge 30-yard dumpster, and we filled the thing. But we had to work very quickly. But what was amazing to me is we did that with our upstairs. It was we cleared out the entire upstairs down to bare wood floors and only the sheetrock left on the walls. All the baseboards were gone, all the doors, all the door frames, everything was gone. And we did that in like a day and a half. Like, we literally destroyed what had taken weeks and probably months in a lot of cases in a day and a half. And when we did the same thing in our downstairs, we had a lot more tile to tear out, and we had the good fortune to hire a couple of my teenage daughter's guy friends to come and help us do some demolition work. And frankly, it was the best $200 we spent probably in the entire project, as these 3 kids came and worked their butts off for a day and hauled out. We broke up tile, we hauled out carpet, we did all kinds of craziness. And again, they helped us, and it was in quick succession that we had cleared this whole, more than 1,000 square feet of living area. And it got me thinking. I'm like, it takes so long to build. We literally started this project in July, and frankly, we're still waiting for some furniture and an appliance to be fully finished, but the construction work is done. And here we are sitting, just before Valentine's Day. And so it takes a lot of time. And in our businesses and in our lives and in any endeavor that we take, there are so many people who are willing to help us tear it down. And maybe they're actually anxiously trying to tear it down when we're trying to build something. And that can be a frustration. Now, having help is a good thing, but having help in the wrong way is not so much. Many times, and this happens especially in network marketing, but really any time that you make somebody uncomfortable with where they are sitting, they're going to try and badmouth it and naysay it. I think this happens a lot with families who don't want somebody to get, a friend or family member to get sucked into some sort of a scam. And I think their intentions are good, but what they end up being is a wrecker of dreams, a wrecker of, the ambition that somebody has, that they want to make their life better, and they're willing to step out of their comfort zone and live outside their comfort zone for some period of time to make that happen. I think here in my office, I have 3 canvases. One says execution, one says hustle, and one says grind, right? And it's just a reminder to me that I can take control of what I'm doing, and through hustle and grind and that execution over time, I can make myself into something that I want to be. I can make myself into a better human, into a better dad, into a better husband, into a better employee, into a better business owner. And that is a building process. It takes time. I try and spend a lot of time, reading scripture and meditating and praying and journaling. It takes time. It's a building effort. I mean, I try and sit down at my desk by about 5:30 each morning. Sometimes it's closer to 6. Sometimes it's closer to 7. But I'm trying each morning to be better than I was yesterday. And that building effort is paying off. But it doesn't take very long for a wrecking effort to come in and destroy the work that I've done and the work that I'm trying to do. And so, as you're trying to help others around you, make sure that you're not coming in as Wreck-It Ralph. Everybody's seen that the Disney movie. There's Wreck-It Ralph and there's Fix-It Felix. And Felix comes in and fixes things and gets and builds things up. And Wreck-It Ralph, he comes down and kind of like the old video game Rampage. He just comes and wrecks stuff. And that's the point for this particular movie or this particular game. But in real life, we want to be a lot more like Fix-It Felix than we want to be like Wreck-It Ralph. I think as we're looking at how we can help others, make sure that we're not tearing them down because it's easier. Make sure that you're not wrecking something because it's easier. Now, creative destruction is a real thing. Sometimes, in order for us to have this beautiful new, inside anyway, home, we had to do some destruction. And that destruction went fast. But over time, we were able to transform into something far more beautiful, something far more elegant, and really something far more valuable to the market at large. And when we can do that, we really gain some amazing insights as into ourselves and into those around us. A perfect example, my wife and I like to go to the Parade of Homes each fall. It is one of the things, we just like to do it for date night. It's fun, it's creative. We get stuck watching HGTV pretty often as well. In fact, I have a guilty pleasure. When I'm out on the road for work, I will turn on HGTV just because it's background noise on the TV. But guilty pleasures aside, I am a big proponent of doing things myself where I can. And maybe it's, I grew up, my dad had a wood shop in the basement growing up, and he built cabinets for other people as a hobby. He's an engineer. He writes code for a living now. But I think that it taught me that. Well, my wife, we went to this Parade of Homes home, and it was this incredible multi-million-dollar home. And there was a window seat built into this bedroom that was obviously a teenage girl's bedroom. And she took a picture of it, and she had that picture on her phone for a couple of years. And she literally, when we were building out our teenage girl's bedroom, she took this picture and said, I want to do this. Now her room has like the slanted roof, kind of the attic sort of ceiling. It's over our garage. It used to be our bonus room, our playroom, and we turned it into her bedroom because it was big and gave her lots of space. And she's 14 and she likes to hole up in her room as teenage girls do. And one of the things, but we took this 2-dimensional picture and created it in 3 dimensions. We built it, we put it in, and it's a great source of satisfaction and maybe even pride for my wife and I that, hey, we did that. Like, we didn't have any help. We borrowed some tools and the use of some tools so that we could cut the wood that we needed to in the right way, but we built it, and we from nothing, and it's awesome, and she loves it. I mean, we wired it with lights. I put put electrical outlets in there so that she can plug her phone in. There's a big cushion that's probably about the size of a twin mattress that's in there, bookcases, the whole 9 yards. And this thing it's really cool. Like, we're excited about that. We built that. It took a couple of weeks to kind of to work through it, from building out the stick framing in the skeleton to building the bookcases and everything out of MDF, but we were able to build it. I would be heartbroken if that were wrecked. I spent a lot of time, effort, thought to actually build that. And our businesses are exactly the same way. They are fragile creatures, right? If our mindset is not right, if we're not having positive thoughts about how we're going to make things happen, it can be wrecked, and it can be wrecked quickly. Poor sentiment about businesses is what makes them collapse. Even corporate firms, large entities. Great example. I have a friend that works at Cisco Systems, right? Huge employer. They employ like 90,000 people. And they just had their earnings call. They're a big publicly held company. And they actually had better earnings than they had told people that they would have, or that they expected. And they had earned more revenue, and they actually increased their dividend. Those are all good things, right? Yeah, well, the analysts, the wreckers, came in and they said, oh yeah, but your guidance for this next quarter is really kind of soft because there's an extra week. It happens about every 5 years. It's kind of a random thing, just by, instead of having 12 weeks, it's 13 weeks. And so you're actually going to make more money, but it's compared against a year where there's one less week or whatever. And they just like trashed on it. In fact, the stock went down by like $2 over the next day. And I'm like, what? Like, they earned more money than they said they were going to. They had growth in a pandemic, mind you, and yet here they're tearing it down. And now if they had a bad quarter, I can only imagine the bloodbath that would be there, because these people are just so ready to look poorly on the decisions of other people. It's funny. Everybody is always willing to give you their opinion. They're not always willing to roll their sleeves up and get to work to help you implement it, but they're always willing to give you their opinion. So remember that as you're building. Focus on your dreams, set that goal, and focus on those first couple steps that are in front of you, and then take the next and the next and the next. And as you build something, make sure that if you're doing any wrecking, it is only a positive and towards a positive end goal. And your business will thrive, and you will grow personally, and you'll become a better person for it. Guys, that's what I've got this week. Hopefully you've got some value out of this. I would love to hear from you. Shoot me an email, jr@mlmrenegade.com. Love to hear your thoughts. And if you've got questions, please fire away. I love being able to answer some of those. I know that many of you have reached out to me on social media and are fans, and that warms my heart. But I really do enjoy just trying to share my goals and share my journey. So you guys, make it a great week.
Hey, thanks for listening, and please remember to subscribe. And if you loved us, leave us an awesome review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you consume your podcasts. Now, if you'd like some free training for your team on how your recruiting efforts can be bettered and brought into the 21st century, go to podcast.mlmrenegade.com and get your copy of the Renegade Recruiting Kickstarter.